We live in a world where everything needs to be sport specific now. If you're not doing sport specific training, you're training wrong, you need to get better, you're gonna injure yourself, I don't know, gonna break your back, do this, do that. You name it, you get what I'm trying to get at. So what I wanna talk about in this video is why actually you must master the basics, even if you're a beginner or an elite level athlete. My name is Artem, I'm a performance coach. Today I wanna break down why you must master the basics. So what I'm going to be talking about is the 1x20 method, which was developed by Michael Yessis, Dr. Michael Yessis, who was a strength coach and sports scientist who spent decades studying the Soviets' training methodologies. And he came up with this idea of the 1x20 method. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It's one set, 20 repetitions, working at a sub-maximal load, so we're talking 50, 60% of your 1RM. There are 4 core principles that I want to talk about, and the first one is, as just mentioned, it's one set. So we're just going to be doing one set, and this is probably like one of the bigger core principles, is that just because we're doing one set, we're trying to, not do too much volume, and this is because we don't want to get the athletes too fatigued, so they should be able to be ready to then maybe have a training session the next day or be able to go again and do the exact same training session in 2 days' time. Core principle number 2, technique work. And technique work is because we're doing 20 repetitions, so we're gonna get a lot of opportunity to actually work on technique, improving our movement patterns, which is great as a beginner and even as an elite level athlete, as I'll be explaining further down this video. Core principle number 3 is full body. So each session that we're going to be doing this 1x20 method, we're going to be doing our entire body. And here it's a bit of a leeway. I mean, you could just do the 7 big movements. If you want to do that, you can do 10 exercises in one session. You can do 15, you can do 20, you can do 30. I mean, but I would definitely start, if it's the first time ever doing it, on the lower end. So say between 7 and 10 exercises. Get the body used to that, and then you can progress to maybe like 15 exercises, 20 exercises, etc., etc. And core principle number 4 is connective tissue. So number 4, connective tissue. And this is because this method allows us to actually train our connective tissue, which is our tendons, our ligaments, our cartilages. Because just doing traditional strength training, you don't really train them that much. And therefore, this is usually much weaker and can increase your chances of getting injured, which we're going to talk about pretty soon. Moving on to how you can benefit as a beginner from doing this, and you might have already guessed it. Reason number 1 is technique. Because as a beginner, you don't have the best technique, you've never done these movements before, maybe it's the first time you're stepping into a gym or doing any sort of even body weight exercises or exercise with bands or any sort of resistance. Therefore, by doing 20 repetitions, it allows you to get a lot of repetitions in and actually improve your technique. And because we're only doing one set, as I was talking about the core principles, it doesn't leave you completely sore, dead, and just feeling like shit. Number 2, reducing injury risk. Reducing injury risk. It's a beautiful K. And as I was talking about with the connective tissue, by doing the 1x20 method, we actually can train this because in most beginners, actually in most athletes, humans, our muscles are much stronger than our connective tissue, so our tendons and ligaments and cartilages. This allows us to actually address those and get them stronger, closing that gap, and that way we actually can reduce our injury risk. Benefit number 3, strong base. Because as a beginner, any stimulus you put on yourself, you're gonna get some benefit from. And this way, even though we're doing a lot of repetitions, you're still gonna get strong, you're still gonna put on some size, and you're gonna actually reduce your injury risk, strengthen that connective tissue. So it's basically a win-win-win all over the place, just bunch of check marks. And reason number 4, it's low soreness. So it's low soreness, it doesn't leave you completely fatigued, depleted of energy, drained, feeling like shit the next day. There might be a bit of soreness the next day, but it's not gonna stop you from doing maybe a field session or any sport that you do or activity, or going again in 2 days' time. So for example, you could do this on a Monday, whatever you want to do on a Tuesday, and then go again on a Wednesday. It shouldn't be a problem at all for you. And as a beginner, it's perfect because that allows us to get even more repetitions in, getting stronger, getting our technique work in. So again, just win-wins all over the place. Let's go into how elite level athletes could benefit and some common things that they do. The first one would be the GPP. So if you don't know what GPP is, it's general physical preparation, and think of it as just, your basics. And usually athletes will do this as an off-season program, or maybe pre-season or beginning of a season, beginning of the year, just to prep the body for more heavier, intensive loading further down the line and prepping for the season to come. So it's a really great thing to do in off-season, or maybe transitioning from off-season to pre-season, or anywhere somewhere in those lines. Benefit number 2, technique as well goes in here. And the reason why I put technique here is also a benefit is that most elite level athletes don't do maybe too much of strength training. So this allows them to actually come back a bit from having maybe poor movement patterns, because when you get fatigued as the season goes on, you start to develop poor movement patterns and move in a not as efficient way. So this allows us to take a step back, actually work on our technique in different areas that we need to, and improve that area, which moves into benefit number 3, which is weak links. By addressing our weak links as well, we can see where we are a bit more, weaker, or maybe lack some mobility, or just moving in a not such a good way. When doing 20 repetitions and doing a bunch of different exercises, you can actually address what needs to get addressed, more or less, and actually work on that area. So for example, if I do a front squat and I can feel my lower back giving up on me on rep 15, I know that's more of a weak area, and I could put more emphasis on that. And benefit number 4, going again, connective tissue. So as stated previously, both for core principles, spoke a little bit about it with beginner athletes, is that elite level athletes usually have some wear and tear, especially now you hear a lot of these tendon injuries, where maybe Achilles ruptures and jumper's knee, runner's knee, whatever it is like that. So this allows us as well to strengthen those areas which are very vulnerable. And the worst thing over there is that it's really hard to tell if someone has any sort of injuries with those, because a muscle you can kind of feel it, it tells you straight away. While with connective tissue, especially with tendons and ligaments, there could be some nagging underneath, but you just don't know about it, and the next thing you know, you do something and boom, it's a problem all of a sudden. So to summarize, the 1x20 method is great because it works in the hierarchy of we address the nervous system, then the connective tissue, and then the muscles, because most programs will just be focused on nervous system, maybe just connective tissue or just muscles. Or they might do, if it's a bit better, 2 of 3. While here we're actually doing 3 of 3. We're checking all 3 boxes and making sure that we're getting, our training for our nervous system, connective tissue, and muscles. And the muscles are being like the last priority because they are way ahead compared to our nervous system and connective tissue. And Dr. Yessis thought that this is actually a great program, and I can definitely confirm that from my own experience for anybody, no matter if you're a beginner or elite level athlete. I mean, if you're a beginner, you're 15 years old, never touched a barbell, never done any sort of resistance training, it's a great place to start. And even if you're an elite level athlete, you've trained for 15 plus years, there's still lots of benefits. I just mentioned 4 of those that you could have from doing the 1x20 method. So if you're a beginner, definitely go ahead, do the 1x20 method. There's a link down below for you to start off. And if you're a elite level athlete going into an off season, or maybe just right now in off season, coming back from an injury, same thing for you. Click the link down below and you have the program you can start off with and try it out for yourself. And I will see you in the next video.